Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Teal Time with Hope. I am the host, Hope, and I hope everyone had a wonderful November and Thanksgiving for those who celebrate Thanksgiving. And I welcome y'all to December. We are at the end of 2025, and it is wild how fast this year has gone by. But here we are, alas, going into 2026, and I really wish everyone a safe and happy December, and that you get to have a Christmas that is full of laughter more than anything and great health going into 2026. For those who celebrate Christmas, of course, because there are people who don't celebrate Christmas in this country, and then there are people that are listening that are in other countries who don't celebrate that holiday as well. But regardless of if you do or if you don't, I'm just putting a lot of positive out there for all of y'all. And so, yeah, it's been a month since I did my last recording, and I've reached out to a couple of people to see if they were able to come on and be a guest. But right now, it's just not been easy to connect with people. And of course, we're going into the holidays, so doesn't mean that I might not get a guest in December, but I'm not sure right now. So we may wait until the new year to start getting guests on this show again. But in the meantime, as you know, my story has been a story that's been going on. Praise God, truly, that I have continued to have a story, that I've continued to be on this journey despite the late stage diagnosis. December 15th, 2011 is the actual day that I had the surgery. It was both the day that they found the cancer. They knew the chances were that it was ovarian cancer, but until they went in and opened me up, I that's why I consider that day as the day that they found it, and they got rid of it. Well, as my doctor said back then, she got rid of everything that the human eye could see, and then chemo was going to do the rest. So, yeah, 14 years I've been on this journey, and I'm so grateful. Every day I wake up to be on this journey still, and it'll be 4.5 years on the 16th of December, which is interesting because December 15th makes the cancerversary of when cancer was first found. And then June 16th of 2021 was when I had my last chemo treatment. So I will be celebrating 14 years in the journey altogether, and 4.5 years of being no evidence of disease, short for NED. On the 16th, the day after. So I should really think about what I want to do to celebrate. Those are milestones, especially on the 15th. Really, because I've been on this journey for 14 years and I've had cancer 3 times and those 2 surgeries and 24 chemo treatments and everything that comes with it. And there's a lot that came with it when it came to the aftermath of chemotherapy, the aftermath of surgery. There's a lot that I could talk about. I'm going to try to do an episode instead of once a month to update everybody and, to say hello, this podcast is still going. I might try to do one every 2 weeks and just share a little here and there about the journey that I've been on in more detail, with some of the stuff that I have yet to really talk about, or maybe I just touched on it, but I never really went into a deeper talk about it. So I think that's what I'll do in between having guests, because it is Teal Time with Hope, and I am Hope, and I know that there's a lot to share with y'all. And while at the same time, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, it is not just about me, the person Hope. It's about the word hope and how powerful it is, but it's also, of course, it's about others, right? Now, I don't like to say things happen to me. I don't know if I've said that before. I believe in words, and I don't like to call it my cancer. I don't like to call it my diabetes or my high blood pressure or things like that. I just don't. Now, I could say my knee hurts because that's my knee. I was born with that knee and it's mine, but I didn't ask for high blood pressure. I didn't ask for diabetes. I didn't ask for cancer. I know people don't always feel that way. I know of cancer survivors who call it my cancer, but I'm just speaking about me. I don't like to say my, because my is a possessive, right? So I can say it's my computer, my car, my apartment, my cat, etc. But things that I didn't invite, things that I didn't buy, things that I didn't want, I'm choosing not to use the word my. Diabetes, high blood pressure, it's it runs in the family, but all that chemo, the way I understand it, it was like it brought it out, the high blood pressure and the diabetes and the anxiety and the mild depression that come from all that I have gone through. And with not saying my for things like that, I don't like to say this happened to me, because for me, again, I can't help but reiterate this. It's just about how I see things, and other people see it differently, and that's fine. But I tend to think, for if I was to say this happened to me, I'm allowing myself to be the victim, and I don't want to be the victim. So words matter to me. So I say this happened, not this happened to me. And people may agree or disagree with that, and that is a-okay. But just know that's how I see things. And so with that, things have happened. A lot of things have happened in these 14 years. And so I could feel a lot of episodes about it all. But I don't want it just about me. It's got to be about us. It's got to be about sharing the stories. But if I don't have a guest and I want to maintain this podcast, I definitely know that coming on here, even if it's every 2 weeks, to share a little bit about what I've gone through, I think can also help those out there that are listening. Not to scare anybody, but holy cow, you know what? I'm past that now. I'll be honest. I'm like, look, if it scares you, I don't want it to, but if it scares you and that's what makes you go to the doctor, if that's what it takes to get you to go, oh my goodness, I don't want to go through anything that Hope went through. So I'm going to stay on top of my health. I'm going to stay proactive, or I'm going to become proactive, and I'm going to listen to my body more than ever before, because there ain't no way I'm going to do anything to ever be in a situation where I have to live that kind of life of what Hope has had to go through, or any of the guests that she has brought on to that podcast. You know, like, if it scares you, so be it, but not in a mean way. It is a horror story. Like, all joking aside, it is a horror story, cancer, and what you go through physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, all of that, hands down. Now, that doesn't take away or minimize the fact that the caregiver is dealing with a lot of emotions psychologically. Like, are they going to die? Am I doing enough? I don't know if I can do this by myself. I don't know if we can afford this. There's so many things that the caregiver or caregivers will have to consider. And so 100,000%, they have to deal with a lot of things that people just don't understand. And they may lose this person that they love, whether that's their child, their partner, their parent, or a friend, whomever. They're caring for that person. And in doing so, their heart is breaking, because they don't know if they're going to survive it all. They don't know what the outcome is going to be, because, you know, when it comes to cancer, you're dealing with a lot of unknowns. Having said that, the person going through it is the one that really is suffering. And I don't know, I think the reason I brought that up is because people sometimes, innocently as it may be, may say that, oh, I know what you're going through. But I don't know if we that are going through it want to really hear that, because we know, unless you've been the patient, unless you've been literally in our gown, not shoes, but gown, there's no way that you can know or understand what this is like. As much as you are saying it in a kind way, trying to relate, there's just no way. Furthermore, we wouldn't want anybody to experience it, hence the advocacy, right? Hence why we want to share the stories, hence why we want to make sure that people know what this disease is about, is because we don't want anybody to have to experience what this is like. And so I just wanted to put that out there. I didn't plan to say that, but, you know, good intentions are beautiful, but if you know somebody that's going through cancer, please try your best to refrain from saying, I know this is hard. I know what you're going through. I understand. Even if you had been a caregiver for a loved one that had cancer, it's still not the same if you aren't the one physically dealing with the psychological, emotional reality of having cancer and going through cancer. And I'll just put that out there. And I don't mean it in a mean way. And I again, people's intentions are always good. And sometimes people don't know what to say. And I'll give you that. Let's talk about that. People don't know what to say when somebody's going through cancer. But sometimes you got to just say, I don't know, and I can't pretend to understand what you're going through. But let me tell you, I am here for you. And I will always be here for you. And whatever you need from me, I hope I can help, and I want to help. And if there's any way I can help, please know I'm here for you. And I'll reach out, because you may not want to reach out, but just know that I am here if you ever reach out, but I'll also reach out to check in on you. That, ladies and gentlemen, that means so much to us, and that goes a long, long way, I guarantee you. And please don't inundate us with, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried blueberries? Have you tried strawberries? Have you tried blackberries? Have you tried homeopathy? It's like, okay, maybe those things work sometimes. Maybe those things work on this person or they worked on that person. But while the person is going through what they're going through, maybe try to refrain from, saying those things, especially the whole, well, you just got to pray more and you just got to believe more. And if you just allow yourself to let Jesus heal you, even though we know we have an awesome God who can heal instantly, instantaneously, and God has a record of healing people, it doesn't mean that that's the plan for you. And it doesn't mean that that person believes less either. And I'm just going to put that out there because there are people who do think like that. Hey, you just have to have more faith, or you just have to go to church more. You have to pray more. You have to read your Bible more. And that's like, oh, and that'll guarantee you that you will be healed. And don't do chemo and don't do the surgeries and don't let them, operate on you. And you're like, I am going through something that you can't begin to understand what it's like. And as much as you love me and as much as you want me to be okay, and maybe you're even scared, and that's why you're saying all this, because you don't want me to die, and I get that. I appreciate that. And I love you for loving me, but please just be here for me. Just be present and understand that I am dealing with a lot of things all at once, from being told you have cancer to not knowing if the treatments and the surgery is going to work, to not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring and with the unknown, and am I going to die? Could I die from this? And I try not to entertain those thoughts, but they're there. So the last thing I need, or we need as patients and trying to navigate through this world of cancer, is people just throwing all of this stuff of like, you got to do this, or have you thought about this, or you should try this. And no, please just try to refrain from throwing so much at a person when they're at a really vulnerable time, as if you know the magic ingredients of not having to go through cancer. Because I can tell you this, in the journey I've been on, I've been given so much recommendations by people who just don't like the traditional medicine, and I get that. Look, I'm not a fan of chemo. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Chemo sucks. It is poison literally going in our body. While at the same time, just like chemo doesn't work for every one of us, sadly, 10 women go through chemo and maybe 5, their bodies won't reject the chemo, but the other 5, their bodies will. And unfortunately, they will pass away because of the cancer. The same is true for homeopathy. The same is true for all kinds of alternative treatments out. Maybe the treatment worked just like chemo, but then after a while, the body starts rejecting it, and that person dies. I have heard stories about that. I have read stories about that. I know people who have died of cancer because they tried alternative treatments and it just didn't work. Just like people who have tried traditional medicine and it didn't work. So your intentions are well, but please just be there and be present, and don't let this fear of somebody you love dying be what keeps you from being there for them. Because more than anything, it is the person going through cancer that needs people there. It just does so much for the soul to know that there are people there, versus seeing how people have backed away and it scares them too much and they don't want to talk about it. And, they got too much going on in their life to deal with somebody with cancer, which I think is quite selfish personally. But then again, maybe you need to be selfish if you can't actually be there for that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't be there for them because you're being pulled here and there, things going on in your personal life, and it scares you and you don't want to be around them, then maybe just stay away. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've had people back away when I was going through cancer, and I've had people be there for me when I was going through cancer. And then I've had people that were there for me during cancer disappear after cancer, as if literally they're nowhere to be found anymore. And they're like, oh, Hope's great. But they don't check in, they don't call. And, am I being too sensitive? Maybe. But it's always nice to know people are there when you're going through a hard time. But it's also nice to know that people are there just in general. I don't want it to be only when I'm going through something horrible or when there's a chance that I might die that people show up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's how I feel anyway. So, I may be going a lot of places with today's episode, but that's also my brain. Thank you, menopause. Thank you, chemo brain. Thank you, being in my 50s. Even though I act like I'm 15, just saying. And I love that. I have never allowed myself to let that childlike person in me go away. I am always going to do my best to be a child at heart because I don't want to grow up. It's a trap. And it's also what keeps me young. Despite everything that has happened in my life, I never want it to control me so much where I become a different person. And even though I have my moments, like my mother passed away November the 29th in 2020, and November is a hard month for me. And as it gets closer to that day, it's harder for me, and I don't want to talk that much. It doesn't mean I'm not friendly. You know, if I go to the gym, I'll say hello. If I do my volunteer at the USO, I'll be social because that's who I am. If I was to get in, do an Uber, because I'm doing a little Ubering again, just to get out of the apartment, I'm going to talk to people. That's just my nature. While at the same time, I may not want to talk on the phone, which I only just started Ubering in the last couple of days. Just if anybody wondered. Yeah, after almost a year of not doing it, I decided to get out there, but that's just a side note. But the point is like, yeah, I have my moments where I'm a bit withdrawn, I'm a bit quiet, and I may not want to talk on the phone much, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't want to text. If you text me, I'll text you back. Or it doesn't mean I'm not going to be on social media here and there and postings on stuff. It just means I am just very sentimental around that time. And so that's changed because my mother died. Of course, that's a huge event, and I miss her every day. And it's the holidays. It also, is indicative of how I've changed too. Cancer changes us. It really, really does. And I'll talk about that later. So yeah, I will do my best to come on once every 2 weeks and just talk about the things in the book for those who haven't read the book, or things that have happened since first and second recurrences, and how here I am. Just had a checkup the other day, and the physician assistant called me a unicorn. Now, I did tell her, can I be a rainbow unicorn? Because they're much cuter. I don't know if I said cuter. She did chuckle. She got a good chuckle out of it. But the reason that she said that, y'all, is because of the fact that I'm still here 14 years later from a late stage diagnosis and 2 recurrences and all that came with that. And I have never been on maintenance therapy. Now, here's the thing. I think that's why she said I'm a unicorn, is because in her experience, she has not met anybody like me in the sense of being alive this long with that type of diagnosis and never being on maintenance therapy in between. So from the first one to the second one, I was on no maintenance therapy. From the second to the third, no maintenance therapy, and I'm not on maintenance therapy presently. I could get cancer again, and maybe they'll put me on maintenance therapy in the future, but the fact that I haven't been on it and that I'm not on it, in her opinion and her experience, makes me such an anomaly. Now, mind you, yes, there are women out there that are probably like me in that sense that she hasn't met. There may be doctors out there that are listening, or advocates that are listening, that said, oh, I've met a woman or some women that have had the somewhat same story as you, and they haven't had maintenance, and yes, they've had recurrences, but they continue to live, and it's been 10 years, 14 years, maybe 16 years. But I haven't met them. If I have, it's very few, if I can recall, but I can't at the moment, because we're not the majority. And that is another reason, ... that we have to keep talking. Because unfortunately, we're the minority. We're the unicorns, because it just doesn't go that way when you get a late diagnosis. You have a higher probability, from what I understand and what I've read, that you won't make it to the 5-year mark. And it's because we missed it. Like I missed it. And then I ignored it. Then I denied it until it was almost too late. If somebody would have spoken about it, if somebody would have advocated, if I would have gotten even a symptom card that was attached to a person that said, hey, I survived ovarian cancer, and here's a symptom card. Please take care of yourself. Please listen to your body. And please, go to this website and read on it and share with your female friends, share with your family, share with everybody, because knowledge is power and knowing is half the battle. And it could save somebody's life, because I'm still here, but I'm not the majority. Women who get caught in the stage that I got caught in, the way it was so aggressive, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So please please pay attention. I'm not trying to scare you, but if it scares you, so be it, because that means you're going to go to the doctor sooner rather than later. And God forbid, if you get it, you'll get caught sooner rather than later. I have to believe that if that would have happened, if somebody would have went to my job or the university gave me a symptom card, I have to believe that I would have took note and I would have paid attention and I wouldn't have gotten caught so late, because I would have gone to that doctor saying, hey, somebody told me about this. I met a survivor. I saw this symptom card. Can you at least check? And it could have been IBS. Could have been something, could have been nothing, right? But you don't know if you don't go, and gosh, how important that is. I can't go back and change what happened. And it's by God's grace that I continue to stay here and be here and choose to do something with the fact that I'm still here, by talking about it, by passing on symptom cards, by starting a podcast. With that said, if you are listening and you want to be a guest on my show, please reach out at tealtimewithhope@gmail.com. Reach out through Spotify. Have a Facebook page for this podcast. There are many ways that you can get a hold of me. And if you yourself haven't gone through it, but you know somebody who's gone through it, please let them know that I am very open to having them as a guest to share their story. And that goes for survivors, thrivers, warriors, which are all those who have gone through it. And that goes for those who sadly have lost a loved one, but they want to share the story of their loved one and what they had experienced so they can get more advocacy out there, or whether it's somebody that's a part of an organization that is about ovarian cancer awareness or research. Reach out, please. I am a wee little podcast here on Spotify and on Amazon Music, I might add. And I know wee little is like redundant because wee is little and little is little, but I like saying it. And if I can with an Irish accent, I will do my best. Thanks so much for not giving up on this podcast, for continuing to give me a listen. And if you haven't already, please give it a rate, review, and a follow, and press that little bell for notifications so you'll know when a new episode comes out. And also, real quick, if there's something specific that you want to know about when it comes to ovarian cancer, leave me a comment and say, hey, did you experience this? Or, hey, can you, talk about this again? Or what was your experience with X, Y, and Z? I'm open to suggestions if you want to know something specific. I forgot to add, when the physician assistant, the one that called me a unicorn, gave me an exam for my 6-month checkup, everything checked out. My pelvic exam was fine. She had to give me a rectum check. I was like, I don't really want any of that, but I will do what I have to do to make sure I'm okay. And, it's not a subject I want to talk about. I don't even want to mention that. But here's the thing. I'm not going to be shy. Just like with breast cancer, right? You have to check your breast. There's ways that you can check for lumps and stuff. We got to talk about things that are not really comfortable talking about because it's important. Why did she check my rectum, you might ask? Well, because she has to make sure that nothing feels abnormal. And thankfully, she said everything seems normal. And I had a CT scan before, not that long ago, and everything seemed normal. But I will say that one thing wasn't abnormal, but it was something that she wants to check again, and that's my CA-125, and I will talk more about that in the next episode. But my CA-125, which is a 35 or under, has gone up a little bit. So 6 months ago, it went up to 19, and then she had me come in a month later, and it went down 3 points to 16.9, but now it's gone up to almost 29. So it's creeping up. Why? Who knows? And that's why we don't use CA-125 as as an only screening for ovarian cancer. But again, I'll talk about that next time. But there are things that can make it go higher. It doesn't mean that cancer is coming back. Could it? Yeah, there could be a small chance. However, and this is a big however, I'm staying optimistic. I'm staying positive. I'm keeping hope alive that it'll go down when I check it again later this month. And yeah, just wanted to put that out there. So please keep me in your prayers. I appreciate all your thoughts and well wishes as I continue to be with no evidence of disease. So yeah, until next time, this has been Till Time with Hope. I am the host, Hope. God bless. Bye for now.